So I hope all of you get a sense of this very simple problem, because I think what the future problems will be complicated versions of this. And I get very excited with simple stuff too, because it's kind of cool. So how much will $100 become after 2 years, right? So now what have I done? I've taken the 1 year problem and broken it into and made it into a 2 year problem. So let's see how to do that. And I really would appreciate it if you did what I'm doing, either now or later. And by the way, I'll do this for relatively simple problems and let you work with the more difficult ones. So how many periods do I have? I have 0, 1, and 2. And as I said, the length of the period is a year, but that's artificially chosen. I'm just choosing it for simplicity. It can be anything. We'll see that in a second. So, okay, so 1 year, 2 years. And what is the question asking me? So you put $100 in the bank, and you're asking yourself, how much will you become at this point? So what is the future value of this, right? So the question is pretty straightforward, but it is a little bit complicated. So here's what the answer will be, and I'll tell you the answer first. The answer will be $121. It's clearly more than 110, but it's 121. And this, in all of this, that $1, this guy, if you understand where that's coming from, you'll see how it'll blow your mind when you increase the number of periods. Okay? So here's a simple way of understanding what's going on. So I'm going to do the example without a formula, right? Or whatever, with a formula that we already know. So can you tell me how much will this be at this point? Do we know how to solve a 1 period problem? Of course we do. We know this is 110. Why? Because this was 100 times 1.1, right? So you don't need the formula to do this, hopefully, but we could do it in our heads. But now notice what has happened. I can use the same 1 period concept conceptually to move 1 period forward. So what will this amount, which is 110, be after 1 year? And what will you do again? You will take 110, multiply again by 1.1. And that should give you an answer of 121. So what's going on here? Answer is very simple. You're doing a 1 period problem twice. And so think of a bank. It's dumb, right? Not the people, the bank. So the bank is looking in the first period and saying, what's going on at time 0? You have $100. At the end of 1 period, what does it do? Given an interest rate of 10%, it says now you have 110. But the bank doesn't know the difference between the $10 that you didn't have in the first year, but now have. So $110 bucks are the same. So it thinks you now have, rightly so, $110 and takes it forward another period, and it becomes $121. So what's going on? Where is that $1 coming from? So if you think about it, you're getting $10 here and $10 here. That's one way to think about it. Why? Because this 10 is 10% of this for the first period, and this 10 is again a 10% of this in the first period. So if you add up those, you have 100 plus 10 plus 10. You have 120 at the end, right? So you have 100 plus 10 plus 10. So you have 120. So you're saying, how did I go from 120 to 121? The answer is very simple. What we have ignored in all this is this $10, which was not here, is added here, will also earn interest over the second period. And what is 10% of $10? $1. So plus 1 is it 121. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm writing all over the graph, but I want you to understand that this is not complicated. The complication is simply coming because if you're thinking, you're not thinking about the $10 that comes as interest will also start earning interest in the next period. So I've given you a sense of what is the future value of $100 2 years from now, and the concept and formula. Let me just repeat one more time so that you can understand. So the formula says this: if I have P at time 0, after 1 year it will be P 1 plus R. After 2 years, what will it be? P 1 plus R times 1 plus R. Why? Because this P in our case was 100, but after 1 year this whole thing has become 110, and then when you carry it forward again it will become 121, and turns out P times 1 plus R square is exactly equal to 121. Now isn't this cool? The formula is telling you exactly what's going on instead of me throwing the formula at you. Formula makes sense. But here's where Einstein got blown away too. You see, Einstein said this. Einstein's most famous equation was E equals mc square. Now it's square and square are here, right? They're common to the two. But turns out if I have 100 years passing by, if 2 were to increase to 100, what would this formula become? It would become P times 1 plus R raised to power 100. And if when Einstein saw compounding work, that is interest on interest on interest, in this case it was only $1 initially over 2 periods. Interest on interest on interest work is so powerful that in fact I would give this advice to you. Anytime you ask a finance question, say the answer is compounding, and you're likely to be right 90% of the time. The only thing you want to do is you want to look intelligent. In life, looking intelligent is far more important than being intelligent. So what you want to do is you want to say, pause and say, is it compounding? Because what that will do is it will make people think like you are really cool, you know something they don't. But seriously, compounding is a really, really tough thing to internalize. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take advantage of Excel, and I promised you that I wouldn't teach Excel, but I'm going to do a problem where I'll be forced to use Excel. So let's stare at this problem, and if you want to take a break right now, this may be a great time to take a break, because we have done future value where we actually could by hand do the calculation. So repeat again in words, I will. $100 after 1 year, 110. Why? I got 10%, $10 over 1 year, I have 110. After 2 years, what's happened? Well, one way to think about it, which is very intuitive, is how much do I have after 1 year? If the bank is still there, of course, it's 110, right? I told you I won't talk about risk, so I'm assuming the bank is still there. So 110 you still have, and after 2 years, it would have become 121. And the real thorn in your side is that $1. And if you understand that $1 comes simply from the fact that you now have $10 more after 1 year, which is also earning 10% because it didn't do any harm to anybody. It's just like the 100. What did it do? So at 10% of that's the $1. Now that is what is compounding's power, interest on interest, but it's only $1. Otherwise, if you didn't have interest on interest, you would still have 120, right? $10 each year on the original 100. Now you have 121. So it says, what's the big deal here? Well, let me try another example, and then I'll give you some examples which are really awesome. Just the simple idea. And I think if you understand compounding as how difficult it is for a human being to internalize, you'll understand why finance is so viewed as so difficult. But if you understand the intuition, it's pretty straightforward, right? So let's do this problem.